United States government is offering you a piece of land of your own.
We have our own land.
No, it's not yours. It's the U.S. government's.
Did they buy it?
No.
Did they trade for it?
It's not like that.
Then how can they own it?
Senator Crane has come here to offer your people a better way of life. If you accept our offer, you won't have to hunt buffalo anymore or roam the prairie. You can depend on your country to take care of you.
You are not my country.
We will give you everything you need if you will just submit to living on a reservation.
We need nothing from you.
You must think of your women and children.
I am thinking of them. I like what I have.
If you walk away from here without a deal, you are asking for war.
No. You ask for war.
Listen to reason. Your people will be slaughtered.
As will yours. Be warned. We Cheyenne are plenty, and my braves are hungry for a good fight. My son had a vision. He will defeat your train.
We're dealing with a myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields, and take them by violence, and houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Micah chapter 2, verse 1 and 2. Shabbat Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. Double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Haran coming back at you with another lesson. Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right, and this lesson is inspired by a video that I saw earlier today by the brother Bukhar Math, titled "What is Smart LA 2028?" Okay, and I remember as I was watching the video, I believe I was still at work, and I remembered that this whole thing that's going on out there and with the fires and so on and so forth that's going on in LA is something that I guess the beginning of their overdrive into this so-called New World Order agenda or system, which the elder apostle Paul calls the digital agenda, right? And I remember back in, I want to say the early 2010s, right? You had, I believe 2011, 2012, 2013, around there. That's when I started to get alarmed that there's something funny going on in the system. I guess you could say breaking out of the matrix in a way, but not entirely, because it wasn't until we came into the truth that we fully broke out of the matrix. But there were signs, right? And I remember back in those years, they were talking about LA being transformed, right? Something known as sustainability goals. And at that time, these things were being lobbied, and you had people going into these meetings, and people in Santa Monica, in different parts of LA, basically protesting in a way, right? That this is not good for us, nor our children, right? They were thinking about these things, later down the line. They were saying it back in 2011, 2012, whenever you heard sustainable development goals, right? You didn't really associate it with what we're seeing today, right? A lot of people just thought of it as, because of how they presented it. That's what Esau does. He always presents, so it says, let's see if we can get that real quick. Whereas the book of Psalm chapter 55 and 21, it says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords, right? So you have to actually, that's why they say that the devil is in the details. It's very important to actually go into what they're saying and break it down, and then match it with their actual agenda that they've came out and what professed or proclaimed. And then that's when you start to make the link. Okay, so back those years, they were talking about sustainable development goals, how they were going to eliminate roads and make it bike lanes. Okay, and then you're going to have probably like 1 or 2 lanes that only the elites could drive through. You know what I'm saying? People are going to be pushed off of their land, right, their homes, and it wasn't going to be done through eminent domain, right, because that's going to take too long. Right, they were going to find creative ways to get people off their land, you know, to get off, to give up their homes and so on and so forth, so that it can be transformed into a different world, so to speak, right? And it's all going to be done through digitalization. Okay, but LA is being used first because of this so-called 2028. They got some Olympics thing going on. You know, they got the World Cup, they got the Olympics, and of course, sports is a thing that attracts billions of people pretty much around the world. Okay, whether they're going to be watching it or whether they're going to be attending it, that's a very, very good thing that they could use, right, in order to speed up the system, so to speak, right? You have many different ballparks. When I say ballparks, I'm talking about baseball and even NFL, where they're integrating a lot of this digital you know, things in their ballparks, where fans are coming in and they're going through the queue with QR codes and shit like that. You know what I mean? I've done videos on that in the past. You know, Philadelphia Phillies comes to mind, right? They have something like that. So people are already being conditioned, you know, and it's being normalized in their minds with this whole digitalization, right? But it's being pitched as a convenience. But we're getting to a point where Esau, you know, he ain't got much time. So now he has to actually move faster, right? And previously what they will do is they'll make war against you, right? They'll come up with some propaganda and make war against the people and wipe them out, just like what you see in Palestine, right? So it's all land grab at the point, and then they come back and they rebuild it in a different way. And then now for you to come back, you got to, you know, comply with their new laws and shit like that. You know what I mean? That's what Esau does. You see, but now, you know, people are waking up. The truth is, you know, on a large scale. So now they have to combat that. The narratives that they used in order to be shielded from criticism whenever they did all this wickedness is waning, you know? And now they this is misinformation. Social media has to do a better job stopping people from communicating the lies. Only the narrative that mainstream media is pushing should be allowed on the platforms, and this BS, man. You know, but that's all because the wicked fleeth when no man pursueth, right? But the righteous is as bold as a lion, right? So going back, I just want to tap into this article here that I actually found, and it describes exactly what this is all about, okay? It gives you a better understanding. And in post-production, I'm going to put a video in there that I found with Gavin Newsom snitching on himself. Okay, and then he's a high-level demon, man. He's a high-level. He definitely attends those World Economic Forum high-level Diddy parties, you know, with children and so on and so forth. You know, you could just tell from his face. All right, he's a damn devil and a demon and a liar. All right, and most are going to destroy him. Okay, but let's get this real quick. It says, this changes everything. All right, it says, California Governor Gavin Newsom has recently announced a sweeping emergency measure granting his commission full control over major cities. Okay, and what's going on out there in LA is not just LA. Like we've said before, it's this is the beginning of what they're going to start doing throughout the entire world. Okay, but it starts with different places. Okay, and you're gonna have New York gonna have the same thing. And I believe my brother was mentioning something about the subway, right? The subway system. They have something known as the Omni, right? Hey, New York could get hit with multiple BOMBs, right? Who knows? You know, And that could set things off where I remember a couple of years ago, they did a test. I believe it was a DHS that did a test of some form of gas being, released out down in the subway, and that caused sicknesses, and it caused them to shut down the subway. Right? They could bring that back. Who knows? Right? And then it speeds up the process of them reimagining the subway system. By the time people are able to come back, it looks new, it looks nicer, but ain't no more people to interact with. It's just machines. It's just robots. It's all digital. Okay? And they're going to do that with many different states. They first have to destroy outright, send that shock wave, that trauma, right, through the people who are not aware, of course, right? And then reimagine it, rebuild it again. Okay? And it's all going to be done quick with AI and 3D printed buildings and shit like that. That was going to set things up very, very quickly. All right, it's not going to take too long, especially with Trump. Yeah, it's going to be things are going to move quick. All right, think Warp Speed 2.0. Okay, and he's going to bring some crazy shit, man. That guy, just watch. All right, so continuing, it says under this rule, laws and regulations can be suspended to align with UN-driven model. With a UN-driven model of sustainable 15-minute cities, okay, otherwise known as smart cities. But the real name for it will be prison cities. Okay, and this is something they've planned for decades. All right, and now it's all playing out. Okay, these are all prison cities. All right, it says the pilot phase of this controversial initiative begins in the Palisades, where property rights will be suspended to test the framework of future urban living. What does this mean for Californians, and how will this impact the global stage? Well, as Los Angeles prepares to host the World Cup, Super Bowl, and Olympics in the coming years, the urgency to rebuild and reimagine the city is mounting, right? Now, you go into that word, it says reimagine, right? Re means back or to do something again, okay? And imagine, when you go into that word imagine, it says to form a mental image of, right? Or the imaginer is the one who's going to sculpt, carve, paint, decorate, embellish. Okay? To sculpt or to carve. All right? It says, there's another meaning here. Right here. To form an image of or to represent. Okay? A likeness. All right? It says, let me see here. Go back to it. It says sculpt, carve, paint, decorate, meaning to build something, right? To construct something, right? And that's the same exact concept that's given here in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, because this is the stage that we're in, right? Because before the MOTB comes out, there's a stage that needs to be set, right? There has to be an infrastructure that's set that allows for this prophecy to be fulfilled to a T. Okay? And right now, if you bring out a CHIP, you're not going to get nobody because the system is not fully in place, right? People still have things. People still have property. Why the hell would they, say we're not at the stage where you own nothing and you be happy. Now, remember, they said that for 2030, right? But remember, they tell you these things and they put it in the future for a reason, because then you're caught off guard when it happens right away. Because in your mind, 2030, we got time. So all these things happening, you're not really thinking about it because we're in 2030. Yeah, I'm going to worry about it when we get there. But yet it's happening right now. It's been happening since 2020, right? Your freedoms, they took away your freedoms. And then now they've conditioned you, or all of us really, to take away our voices, right? So now when we're speaking, we got to use code. You got to be very, very careful what you say, right? So that's all part of the conditioning process. That's all part of the construction process. That's all part of the changing of behavior process. In other words, the MOTB mentality. You can't say certain things. You can't do certain things. You can't go certain places without permission and surveillance all over you. Okay? So continuing back in Revelation 13, it says, verse 16, straight up to the point, it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right, in the first verse, I use the word charagma for the word mark because that's what it is. Okay, and it's a grant of permission. All right. Not only is it as a sign of servitude to the system, but as you serve the system, it grants you permission to do certain things. All right, and of course it has its limitations. Okay, there ain't no such thing as, oh, I get the CHIP and now I'm free to do whatever. No, that's the deception that comes with it. You have access. You can do this, you can do that, but if you don't comply, then we just gonna switch it off. So there's terms and conditions that comes with it, right? So let's continue back in the article. All right, now that we know what reimagine is, right? They causeth, all right, that word causeth there is what I wanted to go into. Lines up perfectly with what they call the word they use as reimagine. Okay, when you go to that word causeth, it says poeo in the Greek. Okay, it says to make. It says with the names of things made, to produce, to construct, to form, to fashion, etc. Right? So to reimagine, all right, is a construction. Okay, and that's exactly what you're seeing. So in order to construct something, reimagine it, you have to tear down the old and build in a new way. Okay? And like I said before, Esau's been doing this land grab thing. They've been doing this for years. They did it to the so-called natives, all right, Northern Kingdom that was over here, waged war against them. All right, in post-production, I'm gonna put it all in there so you can see it. Okay? But that's this devil for you, man. All right? It says, quote, this is a quotation. It says, actually, hold on. Before we get there, let's read a little bit more. So Governor Newsom has unveiled the Marshall Plan. Marshall Plan LA 2.0, an initiative inspired by post-war European recovery efforts. Okay, and there's a video where you had Sleepy Joe, barely there Biden, talking about what he saw with these fires and stuff that's going on in LA. He said it looked like a war, like targets. And I'll put it in post production. Slack I'll put it in post production so you can see it. And then as he was saying it, Kamala Harrison kind of had to step in to stop him from exposing everything, really. But it's game over at this point, man. Everybody's kind of waking up to what's going on with these devils, man. All right. And that's why they're going to have to use the military very, very soon. You see, just watch. All right. So continuing, it says, Newsom has framed this as a golden opportunity for California to shine on the global stage. It says, quote, this is an opportunity for this country to shine, for California and this community to shine, said Newsom. Quote, we're organizing how we can galvanize the community to respond at scale with efficiency. Man. Well, let's see. It says, however, critics argue that this plan's ultimate goal extends beyond reconstruction. It's about reshaping urban living itself, centralizing control over smart city policies where decisions are made by AI-driven governance and citizen rights take a back seat. Okay. It says, what are 15-minute cities, otherwise known as prison cities? It says, under the 15-minute city framework, residents are expected to have all essential needs work, shopping, healthcare, and leisure within a 15-minute radius of their homes. On paper, this promotes sustainability and reduces environmental impact. In practice, critics warn it could lead to restrictions on mobility, increased surveillance, and loss of individual freedoms. Remember, you will own nothing and you will be happy, is what they said, right? This is all coming from the World Economic Forum. They came out and said it. They advertised it with a sodomite smiling happily and shit at the end of it. To let you know, this is what we're telling you. You own nothing and you'll be happy. And in the beginning of that video, there's a part that says SOS, right? Where you see the earth is burning, there's riots everywhere. It's pretty much a war scene everywhere you go, right? War scene meaning the people versus their governments and so on and so forth. People against themselves, civil wars and such. And people are completely displaced, right? Poor, poverty is like a norm, you know what I mean? And it's like, man, the earth is like in shambles and turmoil, you know. And then you got somebody with a sign that says SOS, right? Which is for those who don't know, it's the real SOS means Society of Satan, right? That's what it means. But it's a symbol for crying out in distress for help. That's what they tell you, right? But anyway, so it says, going back to the article, it says, the Palisades, a coastal region that will that will act as the hub for this initiative, will be the testing ground, right? Palisades, very interesting. And I believe the Elder Itazawam, Stay in Spirit 144, actually went into this, the word Palisades, right? And I believe it's pretty much the same word or description for the Karaks. All right, they say that it's a palisade or a pale, right? The actual device that would be the incision of the charagma. Okay, and when you go into that word palisade, let me actually pull it up real quick here. Palisade. Oh shit. Where is it? All right, let me see something here. I think it'll be easier if I just click on the word, and if I can find it. Okay, let me see. So, like, bear with me 1 second. Palisade, where we at? There you go, right here. It says a fence of strong stakes, right? Stakes, when you actually pull it up, you can actually see what it looks like. You know, it's a sharp end, and they used to use it as a form of defense, right? It says a stake or a paling, right? A stake, okay, to fasten. It says close rows of strong pointed wooden stakes fixed in the ground as a defensive fortification. There you go. Okay. When you actually pull it up and you look at it, all right, it looks like these phalanx, right? That are almost like a tip of an arrow, and it's all put in formation, stuck to the ground, and that's a form of defense, right? That I believe the Romans used to use that, you know, as a war tactic. All right, but it's interesting that they use that name, Palisades, right? And there's also a Masonic tone to it. The word Palisades, you know, goes into palladium and so on and so forth, right? But anyway, let's keep going. It says the Palisades, a coastal region that will act as a hub for this initiative, right? They love those coastal regions right around the oceans and so on and so forth. When you look at what happened in with Maui and them, it was all, you know, coastal areas and stuff like that, you know. But let's keep going. It says for this initiative will be the testing ground. It says residents here will experience the first wave of what is described as a Smart LA 2028 model, complete with AI policing, digital currency systems, and centralized planning. That's the goal. Digital currency systems. All right, which again, CBDCs are going to run through the MOTB. All right, that's the power source. All right. It says a global pattern, the UN Sustainable Development Goals. This California experiment is not happening in isolation. Since the 1945 Marshall Plan, international institutions like the UN, IMF, and the World Bank have implemented similar measures globally, often in economically vulnerable nations. Well, that's why I believe Ethiopia, they're already rolling out the digital ID. Right? Many different countries in Africa are actually on board with that system. Okay, I follow this page called Biometrics Update, and you know I frequent that almost every day, and you got countries every day, something new going on. This country just jumped onto this. This country is going on to digital. This country is doing digital IDs and biometrics, and I'm like, damn, this thing is happening quick, you know. So they already got pretty much a lot of these countries on lock. It's just a matter of time. They just need Trump to do his thing here in the West, to kick everything off, because as America goes, so does the world, you know? So anyway, let's keep going. It says, Agenda 21, right? Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030 initiatives tied to global sustainability aim to reshape the way societies function under the guise of combating climate change. And that's the gospel that's been preached by the so-called United Nations, right? With the head, Antonio Gutierrez. He's been pushing for this battling and combating climate change. You have so-called King Charles, Boy Charles. All right, he came out a few days ago or a couple of weeks ago, all right, talking about the importance of this martial warlike footing to go to combat climate change and all this BS, right? So again, I've gone into it. Climate change is the climate, meaning the world stage, all right, being changed from what we have now to the digital. That's what climate change is all about. All right. Again, you remember these devils use something known as doublespeak. All right. So they say one thing, but what they really mean with what they're saying, all right, to the average mind, you might think of it as how you understand it, but that's not what it is. Okay. So continue. It says, in Europe, measures like suspending elections have already raised alarms. And Trump already said some shit like that here in America. Oh, vote, my beloved Christians, vote. This might be your last time. Da da da. You wouldn't have to do it again. In 4 years, it's all going to be fixed, whatever that means. It says the EU Commission has shown a willingness to override democratic processes when populist parties threaten their plans. Recent proposals have also suggested the imposition of martial law in response to global influencers like Elon Musk challenging their centralized systems, right? And they're using Elon Musk as just a figurehead, right? But in reality, what they're going to be doing to the mass population, all right, ultimately with the plans they've had over the years, since so-called 9/11 and prior, all right, so ultimately come down heavy with the military upon the people in order to force that change. Okay, you got depopulation agendas, with the whole demic lockdown 2.0 coming, and they saying Peter Hotez, I believe the Apostle Tahar, been sounding the alarm on that guy. He's also, I guess, big head now, in this whole demic thing that's coming. Okay, and he's been making it very clear that, starting, January 21st on down, we're entering into a different period, a very pivotal period in their plans. Okay, and, during those times, you got to get ready because the BF hysteria, they're definitely going to be pushing that out, basically rolling out their new narrative, so we're going to be getting ready for that as well. And that's in a couple more days, next week or so. So continuing, let's see. It says, proponents of the smart city model point to climate change as a primary driver of urban transformation. They argue that these policies are necessary to prevent catastrophic events. In other words, these devils, they cause these catastrophic events. They have the technology to do so. They have the power over the earth to do so, right? So if you don't allow them, remember they said this new world order is going to come in either by consent or by conquest. We're in a stage of conquest. I keep saying that, okay? And this is all part of the conquest stage. When they make war against you, all right, make fire come from heaven in the presence of men, in the sight of men, right? This is all part of it. The DEW and all this, all these different things, weather warfare and all this. This is what is known as modern warfare, right? It's not too much guns blazing per se. It's just using chemicals and, the weather as a weapon and food as a weapon and everything as a weapon, right? Smart devices that were supposed to be there to make your lives easier have turned into weapons against you. They, emit radiation and all kinds of different stuff that's going on, so, hey, this system is completely effed. All right. They're gonna, go in, crazy. All right. To bring about their so-called NWO, again, Revelation 12 and 12. Okay. It says, they argue that these policies are necessary to prevent catastrophic events. However, critics highlight administrative failures such as inadequate fire breaks and neglected infrastructure as contributing factors to the disasters being blamed on climate change. It says this raises questions about intent. Are these measures truly about sustainability, or are they leveraging climate disasters to consolidate power and control? I would say the latter, right? And what's next for California and beyond? It says Governor Newsom's Smart LA 2028 is not just a local story, it's a microcosm of a global agenda. From the fires ravaging California to the Marshall Plan's rebranding as a quote green recovery, right, strategy, these events are reshaping the very fabric of modern governance. As these changes unfold, staying informed is critical. Are we witnessing the dawn of a more sustainable, interconnected world, or the erosion of freedoms in favor of centralized AI-driven control? And that's exactly what time we're in, right? Cause a thaw. Okay, so yeah, man, that's pretty much what they have on the article here. You know, see if there's any comments. Sometimes the comments be hitting. All right. All right, they don't really have much going on, but you know, it's pretty much like I said before. There's going to be a new demic that's going to be rolling out in probably the next couple of weeks. All right, that's going to push for a lockdown 2.0 because they have to shut everything down in order to push this this so-called reimagined world and so on and so forth at a faster pace, right? So get the people out the way. In the meantime, you're still conditioning them with fear tactics and propaganda and so on and so forth. And by the time, you know, you get to a deep enough in their mindset or so, you know, you just roll out that you know what, you know, all blended in through health and, you know, safety and so on and so forth. You know, of course, you're going to have, not to mention, you're going to have these so-called sleeper cells because they've already came out and said it. They didn't even use the word if, they said when. So we know it's just a matter of time, right? So we'll see. We'll see post January 21st. We'll see how things play out, you know. But we definitely gonna be watching. You know, that's what we do. All right, but let me get this quick precept here. Here's a book of Isaiah chapter 5, and verse 8. It says, "Woe unto them that join house to house, that lay field to field, till there be no place, that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth." And that's what their plan is, right? Push everyone off the earth, push them into a consolidated environment where they're surveillanced and controlled by AI, and then take the rest of the earth, you know, the resources and so on and so forth to themselves. Okay, but you know, that's not going to happen, right? That's exactly why this is written here. Okay, let's get that in the book of Job, chapter 20. Let's see real quick here. Let's go straight down to start at 20. He says, "Surely he shall not feel quietness." Job 20 verse 20. "Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired." Okay, you're not gonna get to enjoy the remains of the things that you dreamed about, the things that you've worked for. You know, you've conspired, all right, to gain all through deceit, as is written in the book of Ecclesiasticus. All right, riches got by deceit. Okay, let's get that real quick. Then we're gonna come back to this. Ecclesiasticus. Let's see, where is it at? All right, 10 and 8. It says, Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 8. It says, "Because of unrighteous dealings, okay, injuries and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another." And like I said before, that's what Esau's always done. Okay, he comes in with violence, he pitches all this fair speeches and so on and so forth to convince you, right, that his solution to no problem is good. And you're like, well, we don't need all this. We good. We're good where we at. Well, if you don't do this, then there's going to be a problem that we're trying to avoid. Yeah? Okay, you are the problem, and you're going to be destroyed. Okay. So going back to Job 20, verse 21, it says, "There shall none of his meat be left, therefore shall no man look for his goods." Okay. "In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits." Okay? Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. All right, and the wicked is going into the word Imal, which means laborer. All right, they're making a case that, you know, the people, the laborers are, you know, not they're less than human. You know, so they have to be, you know, depopulated, and then the rest have to be controlled and so on and so forth through AI. But there's going to be a pushback. And that's why they're going to have to come in with their military to quell that pushback. You know, but ultimately within that, the men of the Lord are going to have spiritual power, because they can't really make a move until the true men of the Lord are done away with. But that's impossible. You know, so there's going to be a war on that front as well. Again, being in the time of war. Anyway, I'm going to leave it off there. Lord willing, you're edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Kodash, the water Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And until next time, Shalom.
It looked to me as I traveled when I was out with you in California, what it reminded me of more of a war scene where you had certain targets that were bombarded, where artillery was just blew them up. With no rhyme or reason. In other words, you'd have this fire going crazy and burning everything down, and 3 houses being fine. Nothing's happening. Or neighborhoods that were still green. Still green. And next to a place that, for example, you know, we're just looking at a Secret Service house that was out there. You know, all the vehicles are melted. Yet the house next door still has green shrubbery on it. And, you know, the house is fine. There's only, I think, 4 or 5 houses in that 200, you know, it's in the Pasadena area. But my generic point is, it's almost like it's a battle scene.
But you know, Mr. President, we saw that in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida with hurricanes.
Yeah.
This is also the nature of, to your point, this changing climate, these extreme weather conditions